Hi, and welcome to this week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with...
Sean.
Chris.
And Kieran.
I was about to cue a drum roll in there just to see who came in first. How are we all doing?
We got it down, all right.
Yeah. We're unrehearsed, we're fine. It's all
Yes.
good.
What's all this rehearsed crap? Next you'll be saying we've got show notes that don't include four-letter words.
I don't know. I'm seeing multiple occasions of four-letter words, which I can only say on this show and not anything else I do with this microphone.
What, you're
Race pace.
You're not allowed to say tosh on the radio.
Can I say tosh?
I feel like Tosh is not in like the Ofcom no words list.
Yeah, tosh is okay. I think you can just about get away with bloody.
I've said bloody on air before and didn't get fired.
Crap is allowed now as well, isn't it?
I think crap is like even bitch is kind of coming into a sort of slightly more. You can definitely get away with bitch in music these days.
Yeah, bitch is quite good when we play that Meredith Brooks song because I feel a little bit cheeky saying that at 7:20 in the morning.
I think we had Lizzo's About Damn Time on the playlist for a good month before I found out it was called About Damn Time and not the bitch song.
Yeah. Is that one where she just goes, bitch?
Yeah, right at the end, just before you're about to back announce it, bitch! It's like, okay, damn girl.
I still want to know how Radio 1 got away with playing the uncensored version of Everything About You by Ugly Kid Joe when it first came out in the early 90s.
Is it that someone hadn't checked it?
Yes, because the start of the rap... Oh, and another one from round about roughly the same time, the non-radio edit of Unbelievable by EMF that says, what the fuck, at least 5 times a verse.
Yeah, it does. It's a sample, isn't it?
It's Andrew Dice Clay, a very unfunny New Jersey comedian.
Yeah.
I quite liked his sitcom, Dice. I thought that was quite good, quite tongue-in-cheek. But I don't think he wrote it.
That'll be why, then. I don't think I ever saw that.
It's good. It's I think, a HBO thing. It's a complete send-up of him being washed up. Yeah, I enjoyed that. It's called Dice.
Didn't have to look too far for inspiration.
No, very much not.
Don't forget, Paul, like putting sort of hidden messages in songs to mess around with the establishment was always was prevalent around that time as well. Because you had the Shaman with Ebenezer Good, or as the chorus kept singing, "Ease are good, ease are good."
So Top of the Pops made them tone it down a little bit, and on one of them they were playing live, and instead of got any Vera Lynn's being Cockney rhyming slang for skins, rolling papers, Mr. C shouted out, got any underlay? And they asked him about it afterwards and said, oh, it's a gratuitous rug reference.
I'm trying to think of any British song from pop history that translates words in any other language or any other nation than England than Ebenezer Good. Is there anything more stereotypically English than Ebenezer Good?
Vindaloo?
Vindaloo was exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah, I mean,
Me and my mum and my dad and my gran and a bucket of Vindaloo.
Yes.
Fuck it. I mean, even Tub Thumping did quite well around the world, but that is a very classically, well, I should say Irish track, because I think Chumbawamba were Irish, weren't they?
No, they were originally from Burnley.
From Yorkshire?
They started out in Burnley.
Lancashire. Oops.
And then moved to a squat in Headingley in Leeds. It was around about the time that I was living in Leeds and going to a lot of gigs at one particular place called the Duchess of York. Don't look for it, it's not there anymore. New Spinal Tap film out soon. I had to get that reference. And I think it's a branch of FC UK now. And this venue, it was incredible. Literally everybody played there. I mean, a couple of friends of mine even saw Nirvana play there.
Oh, wow.
I didn't get to see Oasis's gig because I was playing at a slightly bigger venue 20 miles away with my own band that night. So
take that, Oasis.
So hey,
where are they now? Where are they now?
Little big men will reform for the right amount of money. But you'd always see at the end of every gig 11 o'clock, chucking out time, at least 2 members of Chumbawamba outside poncing for change. And selling tapes.
Of course.
And then heard them on Radio 1. It's like, oh, God, are they going to start begging at the end of the song as well? But yes, they all lived in an anarchist squat commune in Headingley in Leeds.
Yeah. That sounds like one of their albums.
We're definitely veering off topic
We
here.
haven't talked about F1 yet.
And talking of begging and poncing for spare change, right, let's just leap straight into the Red Bull rumour factory, meat grinder. Who the hell's going to be driving what next week?
Yes.
How much of an arsehole is Helmut Marko for letting there be speculation about Lawson, who is a perfectly good driver, has proved himself in both his rookie seasons so far.
Yep.
But his third
All
one...
3 of his rookie seasons, actually, yeah.
Yeah, turns out when it comes to rookie seasons, 3 isn't a charm. He's driving, I'm quoting my mate Sam on this one, the Maxmobile.
Yeah, and even Max has come out, hasn't he? And he said, "Look, this isn't a good car to drive. Liam's doing what he can, and to be fair, it's not. Their car is easier to drive when it's their car." He was referencing Racing Bulls. It was last in the sprint quali, and then pit lane start again on Sunday, and I think he made like a couple of places on sprint race, and the pit lane start was because they wanted to try something different, treat it as like a testing session. He still struggled and got overtaken by people who you would not expect a Red Bull to get passed by. My favorite being Ollie Behrman, who did launch into his now trademark Ciao
Yes.
when he moved past them.
Which he has since apologised for. If it came across as arrogant, he was just celebrating with the team.
No, you've got to allow people to celebrate these little things. 'Cause
Yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise they lose their edge.
Yeah,
If I remember right, Haas is fully based in Italy, right?
well,
No.
He's still a Ferrari junior driver. He did most of his
that's a good point.
sort of junior career. He did, I think, Italian F4 and I think a few other bits. So he's come up through Italy.
If you listen to his accent,
it's varied.
There's a lot of Italian in there. I mean, he's got a Rosbergian accent.
'Cause I think did he do a German junior series as well? I think he has got a sort of pan-European voice.
We'll be seeing him.
He's
We'll be
spent a lot
seeing him
of
on
time in
stage.
Italy, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be seeing him on stage at the Eurovision Song Contest at this rate, with the amount of foreign accent that he's got. But the Haas chassis is Italian. It's still a Dallara.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's Italian in there, but
And the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drove for Prema last year. They're Italian.
yeah, and fiery if you watch IndyCar.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, Robert Schwartzman's car burst into flames, and they couldn't actually find out where the fire was coming from, so they had to take the car apart in the middle of the track
Oh dear.
just to see where the fire was. It didn't go well.
No, I mean that's what the pit lane's for, isn't it?
He wasn't on the pit lane. He was on the track. Had to get out the car because it was on fire. And the
And
marshals.
they couldn't locate the fire.
They had to take all. It was a fuel leak, so it was like fuel dripping onto the exhaust. So they had to they ended up having to take like all the bodywork off to get at the fire to put it out.
I mean, it didn't help that this weekend Just Gone's IndyCar race was at a private track around a fucking retirement complex.
No, I mean, I feel like they could learn something from the aviation industry here, where you just maybe like cut off the fuel to the bits where the burning is happening.
They just decided to take a car to pieces.
That would make sense, but then again, so would not racing at a retirement complex in front of a load of specially invited pensioners.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean,
Who then weren't actually tech savvy enough to tweet about what was going on the race when the entire worldwide TV feed went down for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, that was a shit show and a half.
Including to everyone at the track, so Andretti didn't even know what their cars were doing.
Look outside.
Anyway, right, so we got as far as...
where
Lawson. We were talking about Lawson. And then we fired him to talk about IndyCar, apparently.
Yeah. Helmut Marko is being a twat.
Well, there's nothing new.
No, but he's being a twat by Helmut Marko
Yeah.
standards. I mean, what the hell? Does he want somebody to come into the car and come second straight away? Seemingly, yes.
Yes. Or
This-
joint first, so that they get 2 firsts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and
Now,
This is.
go on, Kieran. You go first.
It's like a roundabout, isn't it? You're going after you. It's an odd. For me, it's an odd one. I think for everyone, it's an odd one. What this goes to show, and I came out with some wacky things which Jane went, "You idiot," several times at this weekend. But what this goes to show for me is like 5 things. Firstly, the obvious: the Red Bull is an undrivable car unless your surname rhymes with Verstappen. The Racing Bull is probably a better car than the Red Bull, but they don't have Max. Liam Lawson wouldn't have double qualified last in the RB. If he was in
Strongly
the RB and say Hadjar or Sonoda was in the Red Bull, Liam Lawson isn't qualifying 20th. We know that because we watched him 11 times last year not qualify 20th. I don't have the stats on that. He might have qualified 20th at some point, but I don't think he did. The really wacky thing, which made Jane go, "Shut up, you idiot," was when I said the only way to tell how good Liam Lawson is to put Max Verstappen in the RB, whatever the Racing Bulls, whatever it's called now, because at least then you get a sense of how good that car is, how good the Red Bull is, and whether the people who are actually in the RB are any cop against Max. Because right now we've got this Cinderella slipper where everyone's foot is gangly and ugly, and everyone's going, "It's the feet's fault," as opposed to, "This is a very weirdly shaped shoe."
What an analogy that is.
Yes.
yes.
I'm here for it, though. I genuinely think there probably could be some merit to putting Verstappen in an RB just to make the point about the pace difference between the cars.
Yeah. Oh, I've got a tea delivery.
Oh,
That's never happened to
wow.
us before. Thank you very much. Oh, what's that? Nuts. Thank you. Well, yeah.
So
Good
have you
point.
got a full Deliveroo or something here? What's going on?
Thank you.
Last time,
Somebody say 3 legs, 4 wheels.
3 legs, 4 wheels.
No, that's the Just Eat thing I was doing there. Sorry.
Oh.
Ah,
I'm not quite Katy Perry or Snoop Dogg.
we've noticed.
I think I'm offended.
The last time somebody had food delivered on the show, it was buffalo cauliflower, and look what that started.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not had buffalo
Yeah.
cauliflower for a while. Right, that might have to happen soon.
Okay. I'll remind you that you've said that when you're complaining when it comes out the other end, but okay.
Was that Sean Kelly?
It
Yes.
was.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
Falklands
Me.
War moment. I counted them all out and I counted them all back again.
They shouldn't have gone back again if you counted them out. Paulo, Hanra.
So, the current situation. Trying to get things back on an even keel, which I definitely wasn't after the buffalo cauliflower. But Red Bull are now apparently spending the next couple of weeks crunching the data and running the numbers with what was it Horner said? They've got 600 sensors on the car and 400 staff to look at what the problem is.
Okay. The problem is they can't build a car for anybody who isn't, like Kieran said, isn't Max Verstappen. This is what happens when you build a car so solidly around one driver and their preferences.
Yeah, I mean, let's have a look. The Lotus with Ayrton Senna in wasn't the same car that year as the Lotus with Johnny Dumfries in it.
Yeah, was that his first teammate, Dumfries?
I think so, yeah. Oh, his first Lotus one.
Have I got that wrong?
It was his poshest teammate because he was actually John Earl of Dumfries.
Fantastic.
right up there with Prince Bira and, even though not nobility, Piers Courage.
That's a great name.
Yeah, it is a fantastic name. Yeah.
I like that.
So, yeah, they're building a car for one person, won't admit it, and it looks like they've got 3 people to every 2 sensors on the car.
Yeah. There's a meeting allegedly at Red Bull on this Thursday. It's apparently been called by Helmut Marko, and it's basically because they know that this car is no good, and the person making it look good is Max Verstappen. Max isn't happy with the car. To bring it sort of back round onto the situation that we're on, there's absolutely no way they can.
They can
Oh, no.
Oh no, he's gone.
Oh, has my internet gone?
Oh, no, you're still there.
You're still there. Chris is showing that he's still here, but he's gone very quiet. Taking
There's
over.
absolutely no way that they can
Finish that.
carry on like this.
Finish
They
that
can,
sentence.
they can let us talk about this. There's no way they can let us talk about it.
Yeah, Helmut Marko sabotaged Chris's internet. But yeah, there's no way the team can go on like this with one car being at the front. Even if it's not challenging for wins, it's still challenging for podiums.
Yeah.
And one car that is absolutely stuck at the back. And I'm on the verge of taking back everything I said about Perez.
I'm not, which is really rude. Let's reword that. I think it was the right decision to sack Sergio Perez regardless of how shite this car is. The reason being that if you're not getting the result you want by the end of year 2, you're not going to get it in year 5. So you may as well take a chance that one of your many juniors can be Max Verstappen-like more than Sergio Perez. Next man up is Liam Lawson. He isn't. Next man up is Yuki Tsunoda, let's say. He probably won't be as well. So you're now balancing this thing of, does the design philosophy have to entirely be around Max Verstappen, or do they sacrifice a lot of pace, build a car that Max can't drive so well, but someone else can, and then you have a consistent 7th and 8th every weekend as opposed to 2nd and 39th?
They can't fire Liam Lawson, can they?
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
No, I mean,
I've been here the whole time. I never went anywhere.
You just stopped mid-sentence and didn't finish it.
we think we've finished the thought for you.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no way they can fire Liam Lawson after 2 races.
Yeah.
No.
The only thing they can do, from a PR point of view, it would be fantastic if they put Yuki in the Red Bull for Japan. But if they're going to do that and move Liam back to RB, they need to put they need to give Yuki 2 races and then compare Yuki and Liam's 2 races. But I don't think that second driver is the problem.
No, I agree.
No. The other thing that you have to bear in mind is the rule that teams are only allowed 4 drivers over the course of a season unless they get special dispensation, which has to go to all the other teams. I mean, granted, they will, Red Bull or Racing Bulls will get a vote from the other team, but they still have to canvass the other 8 teams to see if they're allowed, and I can't see every single team going for it. Well, we've got an even better driver now that we want to have, even though we've used R4. It's like, no, fuck off.
So if they use at this point of the year, so if they use Verstappen, Lawson, and Tsunoda, they would only have one.
They would only have
change.
Yeah, they're only one. As has happened recently, they're only one bout of appendicitis from being stuck with that lineup for the rest of the season.
Sure.
This is why the Toro Rosso year with Kvyat and Hartley and Gasly and God knows who else. Mm-hmm. That's why Kvyat had to come back, because by that point they'd had 4 drivers, so they couldn't. And Gasly was doing the Super Formula finale.
Yes, that rings a bell.
So they couldn't bring anyone else in without every other team on the grid.
And did he end up in like the other car to the one he started the year in?
Yes.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up in Max's car, or what started the season as Max's car.
Intriguing. Yes.
I mean, 4 drivers, they're going to run out by Miami at that rate.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to be scraping the fucking Romanian Formula 4 driver they have on their junior program right now. They're going to be scraping the barrel too hard to process people through both teams.
I mean, they've run out of drivers, haven't they? So, like, look back, go back to Mark Webber's days. Do you remember Mark Webber's Christmas card, where he was waving out the window at all the junior drivers? You had Daniel Ricciardo, Jean-Eric Verne, Sebastian Buemi, Sebastian Bourdais. There were a number of high-profile Red Bull juniors, in inverted commas. Okay, Ricciardo did all right for himself, but that pool of talent is not that big or experienced anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they've thrown away a number who could maybe have cut their teeth in F1.
Yeah.
They threw away Dennis Hauger. They threw away Jack Crawford. They haven't thrown away yet Ayumu Iwasa.
Pato O'Ward is another prime example of
even in F1 itself, though. You've got obviously Sainz, Gasly, Albon, who all came through there for some reason, weren't good enough for Red Bull, but have become very acceptable drivers somewhere else.
I mean, Sainz going to Red Bull could have killed his career.
Yeah.
Because they're not looking at it in the way that the Red Bull's poor at that point. You look at it the way of, is he as good as Max?
Mm-hmm.
Which, rumour has it, Jos was worried that he might be, so he vetoed it.
Well, now we can see what it would have done. Because that seat looks to be entirely revolving around Max Verstappen.
Mm-hmm.
I think put Lewis Hamilton in that, he's qualifying 15th, 16th, 17th.
Yeah, if not 20th, where Lawson's been qualifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, they said on the Drive to Survive, like, we're looking for a driver who can be within 0.2 of Max Verstappen. Liam Lawson at the moment is 1.1 seconds off in qualifying pace.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be a damn sight less if he was in an RB.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
But, as I said, the rumour in the Spanish press this weekend, it came out late last night, that's the Sunday, by the way, was that Lawson is about to be binned off entirely. Yuki's going to be moved up to Red Bull, and they're making approaches to both Alpine and Williams, because they still both jointly own him, for Franco Colapinto to take Yuki's seat in the RB.
Sergio Rodriguez does tend to get this stuff right, but only after some sort of confirmation elsewhere.
I mean, this was sources inside the paddock. Now, I did read somewhere else, and I can't remember where, but the sources inside the paddock were Colapinto's management.
Uh-huh.
I'll do it.
Which could mean either there are talks ongoing, or Colapinto's management would like there to be talks ongoing, so he's trying to implant a bit of a seed of thought.
But, of course, the Colapinto contract situation is very, very tangled, shall we say, because he's still officially a Williams driver on loan at Alpine, who are paying his wages, and they've got an exclusive right for 2 years.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was officially a loanee.
Williams still own the rights to him, but I don't think they've got a recall clause that can be put out immediately.
So does that mean for this potentially to happen, this involves Briatore and Christian Horner doing some kind of deal?
Yes.
That's
I did
mucky.
spot
with James Vowles.
Uh-huh.
I did spot on the lapels of the race suits of the Alpine drivers this weekend, Mercado Libre.
Yeah.
Which was the sponsor that made the rear of the Williams yellow.
Yes.
Towards the end of last year when Colapinto was driving for them. So his sponsors are starting to appear on Alpine already. I don't think Colapinto is going to jump ship into Red Bull, or even RB for that matter. I don't think he would do either of those, and I don't think Alpine would let him. But what I do think is Red Bull have run out of people to replace drivers with. They can't. We're saying, you can use 4 drivers this year. That's fine. They haven't got 4 drivers to plug into a team. They just haven't. Arvid Lindblad doesn't have the result. They may as well bring Daniel Ricciardo back.
Oh yeah, they won't, because I think he's firmly parked it and he's off doing other things. But they have a slight advantage that they have 2 teams, and at minimum they can use 6 drivers, because you say about having 8 drivers, but those 2 drivers at RB could eventually become Red Bull drivers. So you throw another 2 into the pot. Oh no, then that's only 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
Yeah, but then they've got to have super licenses and stuff.
Yeah,
so...
and if you're plugging someone into RB, you're looking at those younger drivers, aren't you?
Yeah. Absolutely.
I liked your left field suggestion, though, Sean, of somebody to plug in next to Verstappen, who maybe is an experienced head, can drive around. Well, I'll let you explain.
I'm happy to explain. So, yeah, going sort of along the way we're talking here, in that if you run out of young people to plug into Red Bull and sort of bringing up through RB, they're going to have to look for a veteran like they did with Perez. Perez, I think, is probably still a bit too tainted at the moment. Ricciardo, obviously, as we say, has sort of gone off and is doing his own thing. In terms of people who have been on the grid recently who are otherwise unattached, you're probably looking at Kevin Magnussen. It's a fun idea. He's fairly, he's not afraid to tell people to suck his balls when he has an issue with them. So, someone getting in his way or whatever, he is going to hold his own. I doubt he gives 2 shiny shits about Max Verstappen. So he's probably not going to be asked about his performance.
And he's had a career of driving sheds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure his dad could probably fight Max's dad if needs be. I'm sure that could be arranged.
They did do it in Tyrrell in 1998.
Yeah.
Stuart, it was.
Yeah, I genuinely think, for something that started in my brain as a wild suggestion, I genuinely think there could be legs to it.
Mainly because, as well, Kevin Magnussen would be the type of driver who would be like, well, you're not doing as well as Max Verstappen, are you? And literally his response would be, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I'm not here to be as good as Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he got a Haas on pole for a sprint race. He is used to finding performance in cars that are shit.
That was, okay, we need to caveat that
yes.
with... It was the only semi-dry lap before all the rain came.
Well, yeah, I would. Max was only about 10 seconds down the road from him. I'd willingly put that bonus caveat in there.
Yeah, but wasn't there some kind of shenanigans with the red flag, and why didn't it happen to anyone else? And
well, that was last year, but then
yes.
this was Magnussen a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, this was year before last.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other 2 super subs are both in different teams now. You can't just bring in Hulk or Behrman. So
then you look at sort of using Sean's logic. Do you also look at like Daniel Ricciardo? Is he probably want to be more compared to Max? Maybe find a way back into Formula One full time. So it probably would matter too much to Danny Rick.
Mm-hmm.
Or whereas you then look at somebody else who's maybe not got a seat. Maybe Valtteri Bottas. He's probably in the same ballpark. He probably was looking for a seat at maybe Cadillac next year, or if one becomes available somewhere else, he's probably looking for a seat there. So again, he probably cares too much. Then I don't know, who else can you look at who you will plug into that Red Bull, who's an experienced head, who will be able to give you what you need and not give a shit against Verstappen. I honestly think we're out of ideas after Kevin Magnussen.
It's a list of 1.
Short of them going cap in hand to Vettel.
Yeah.
What's in it for him, though, with that?
Nothing.
No.
Plus, he's 38 now.
Yeah, I think
he's been out of the sport for 3 years, hasn't he? So 23, 24. So this is his 3rd year out of the sport.
It's going to have to be a good offer, I think. You're going to have to offer him something more than a shitty car only Max Verstappen can drive, I think, to drag him back in.
I think
it's not like the old days.
We could once again see the return of Danny Kvyat.
No.
He is only 30.
Yeah, the flagless Danny Kvyat.
Is he not Italian now? Did he not get hold of an Italian license?
I think he did. I think he now has no flag, but he was an Italian racing driver for a short time. Yes, Danny Kvyat. Yeah, I drive for Lamborghini, therefore I am Italian.
What's the opposite of a Rosbergian national anthem. Silence, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe you get to pick your own. You can just pick a song to be played in your honour.
Yeah, like the darts.
Yeah.
James Bond theme tune.
We all saw how well that went at the F1 launch.
Yeah, no, we don't need to do that. That was Aston Martin. We don't need to do any of that ever again.
No. So basically, what we're saying is Red Bull are screwed, and it's all self-inflicted.
And their only option is Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad news.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
I
to quote Christian Horner, build a better fucking car.
Absolutely spot on. The irony that's come back to bite him in the arse. They can't. They'll say, "Oh, we can't go on like this. We're going to need to replace Liam Lawson." They can't go on like this in the short term. They're absolutely right, because no one's going to get in that car and do better than Liam Lawson. And I know that sounds or rather, no one is going to get into that car and prove that they are better than Liam Lawson. They're just going to prove that they are more suited to that Red Bull. So in the short term, if you want to put Yuki Tsunoda in, go ahead. If I were you, Yuki Tsunoda, I'd take the opportunity. I'd tell everyone you know this isn't a reflection of me as a driver. And then when you get inevitably bumped back to RB in 6 races' time, you just carry on doing what you need to do. Then Red Bull, next year, change your fucking car, because Max isn't going to hang around for too long. He may retire in a couple of years' time. And you can't have a car which is the 6th best on the grid unless you've got the greatest driver of the 21st century in there. It just, and I apologise immediately to Lewis Hamilton fans, to Sebastian Vettel fans, to Michael Schumacher fans, one of the drivers of the 21st century. Then you've got to change it, because he's not going to hang around.
And also, when you see Yuki in a Cadillac overtaking a variety of Red Bull branded cars next season, hopefully he'll have a finger in the air.
I really think Yuki Tsunoda's going to go to Aston Martin.
Wonder where you were going with that then, Paul. It's me.
I think we have to become a little bit serious now and sad. The only thing I can say is R.I.P. EJ.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
F1 this last week lost one of its absolute legendary figures. I mean, he really was the first team principal that made the role of team principal what it is now, where you have to be media savvy, you have to be a little bit shifty, and you have to say what you think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the guy was an absolute legend. The only person that I've actually seen, or one of the few people that I've actually seen in F1 with no filters whatsoever. Maybe Eddie Irvine as well, but who discovered Eddie Irvine?
Yeah,
and built him in his own image. You know, everyone's got a favourite Eddie Jordan moment. I think mine is possibly the same as Sean's, watching him play the spoons to a cover of With or Without You by his own band.
Dedicated to Ayrton Senna.
Yes.
That was...
no!
Oh, yeah.
No.
Who he said he also discovered.
Yes.
God.
That is genuinely one of the most bizarre musical experiences I think I've ever encountered.
Was that during TT week?
Yes. Yes, because he also at one point stopped the gig to bring Michael Dunlop out on stage and interview him about his race that day. And then they just carried it back on like nothing had happened with their set.
Yeah, some of my favourite gigs stop halfway through for a in conversation with.
He also told us that night he was the reason why DHL have the colour scheme that they did, because he went to Deutsche Post to get sponsorship from them, and they said, we're just about to launch a new international parcel division called Direct Handling Limited. Here's the logos for it, and it was all in the Deutsche Post corporate colours of blue and white. And he said, that'll never go on my Benson & Hedges sponsored car because it's bright yellow. Come back to me with a bright yellow logo and we'll talk about sponsorship. So this is all according to EJ. So I do not know how apocryphal this is. And there were other people at the gig, so there are witnesses to this story.
There were a lot of stories, weren't there, at this gig?
Yeah. So Deutsche Post went away, rang him a week later, and said, "Okay, we've got a yellow logo. Will this fit on your car?" And he took one look at it and went, "Yes." And that's when the DHL logo started appearing on the Benson and Hedges sponsored Jordans.
Yeah. Did anybody hear the interview, the off the cuff interview with Ted Kravitz and Pedro de la Rosa at the weekend?
Yes, I did. Yeah,
with the Repsol sponsorship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking to Repsol, saying he was going to sign a Spanish driver, they absolutely needed to come on board. Signed to the Spanish driver, and then called Repsol and said, "Where is my money?"
I remember there was one when he was punditing for the BBC when the BBC had the rights to all the races, and it was at Monaco. And you know the one I'm talking about.
Is this the contact lens?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Red Bull have a swimming pool in the energy centre, and everybody was jumping in post-race. And EJ went in, lost a contact lens. But...
I don't think he jumped in. I think someone pushed him.
Oh, he did get shoved.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up wet.
Yes.
He ended up soaking wet, wearing white pants, which is never good. Refused to come out of the pool because he was commando. One of his contacts fell out, and he couldn't go underwater to look for it because his wig might fall off.
Oh my God.
Yeah, apparently he'd had alopecia since a racing accident when he was in his 20s, and every time you saw him, that was a syrup.
No, he had three. He had three, didn't he?
Yes.
I've just had a haircut. My hair's slightly grown out from my haircut, and I need a haircut. And he rotated through them every couple of weeks.
There was a story on the BBC Checkered Flag tribute, which is worth a listen. It's 40 minutes. Not now. Stay listen to this. Go to it later. It's a tomorrow listen. Where they were saying it was Andrew Benson, Mark Gallagher, and Gary Anderson. So, you know, a room brimming with testosterone with those three. But they were saying that when he got his Fujifilm sponsorship and Kodak sponsorship for the original Jordan 191 in 1991, he turned up to the office and he specifically tracked him down because he liked the green logo and he wanted his car to be green. So he thought it would work. So he literally spent 1990 writing up a list of companies with green logos, then wheeling dealing his way around the world to all the green logo companies. And someone at Fujifilm, he turned up there at something like 6 a.m., sat in the head office at Fujifilm downstairs, got brought up into a meeting, and he refused to leave the building until they gave him a sponsorship. 14 hours later, Fujifilm went, "Sod it, we'll sponsor your team." And that's how they got sponsored by Fujifilm, because Eddie literally wouldn't leave the office.
They had to pay him to go away.
Yeah, literally that. Your logo's green, yes. Can I have £300,000? No. Okay, I'm staying here. Really? Yeah.
It's like that Simpsons thing, which I think Kieran will get. Just like, your logo's green. Yes, it is. My car is green. Okay. Are you better than me?
Well, I don't want to say it, but yes.
This is all making the DHL story a lot more credible.
Uh-huh.
So, my Eddie Jordan story, and I can't believe I've saying those words out loud, was at the Isle of Wight Festival in 2007 when I was 16 years old, and I'd stayed down the front all day to see Muse headline, but there's also Ash and Wolf Mother and a very early Amy Winehouse performance, or rather probably a peak Amy Winehouse performance. And then afterwards I met up with my girlfriend at the time, and we were just walking around the site, and there's late night music on, and there's one stage at the festival called the Kashmir Cafe, which is your sort of chill out, listen to some late night jazz or funk or something, often local bands, and Eddie and the Robbers were playing. And I said to my then girlfriend at the time about 4 times, I want to go see Eddie Jordan. What's he like? Oh, he's something to do with F1, but he's in a band basically. And you know that thing where like when the tent is so full that you can't get in. The opposite of that is when the tent's so empty that you're about to be dumped if you take your girlfriend in there. So you walk in? No, it's not. No, just go on. You want 30 people in there.
But I'll bet he was treating it like he was headlining Wembley Stadium.
Probably so, yeah. I won't say my dad was in there. He was in there watching it, but I thought, no, it's a little too dating to be able to do this. And I don't want to be not dating.
If you've got any classic EJ stories, send them in the usual way, and we'll have a look and a laugh. And if we get some good ones, we'll read them out on next week's show for definite. But,
yeah, absolutely.
Rest in peace, Eddie. You will be sorely missed.
Absolutely.
All right, we had a Grand Prix. Well, actually, we had two. Technically, we had two races.
Yeah, there was a race and then a Grand Prix, wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a bit of a parade and a Grand Prix. Shall we go team by team? And this time we will actually talk about the sprint as well, even though not a great deal happened. I have some show notes provided by Chris, with little annotations as well that he's put in. So the running order that we have is Ferrari, bollocks.
Lovely.
Well, they were on Saturday evening and Sunday. Saturday morning. No, just Sunday mainly. I think Sunday it was an all right race. It was okay. Yeah. It was pretty, a lot better than what we had seen from them in Melbourne. Okay, They were off the pace a little bit more than perhaps they wanted to be, but no, it was race wise. I think it was okay. Saturday they were absolutely absolute heroes, but you can't do that and get your calculations wrong. I'm sorry.
You can't.
Now, apparently, it's down to the same excuse that Mercedes used in Belgium last year for George. Oh, we didn't think about the tyres.
Except you did.
Yeah, well, yes.
Because you brought one of your other drivers in for tyres. But
Yeah.
his setup was also wrong, and he got disqualified for a completely different reason. Come on, Ferrari, you're supposed to be getting on with it now. This is supposed to be... Fred Vasseur is making me look like an idiot, because I'm on this podcast being like, so Fred's Ferrari is different to all the other Ferraris because he's getting things sorted out and they won't make as many mistakes. And then the first two races we've had of this year, classic Ferrari, instantly. A double disqualification and a shit show of a strategy call. Thanks, Ferrari.
If Binotto was still in charge with Ferrari, this podcast would be 9 hours long.
Oh God! So we would
be mostly gags.
We would have the cut off at 10 a.m. then.
Yeah, but it's no longer a 10 p.m. cut off. I'm taking you on the plane with me. I'm onto the plane. And another thing.
I mean, we do have to say, Ferrari's...
Excuse me, sir. Please put your phone on flight mode. Please put your phone on flight mode.
No, I'm still talking about Binotto.
But I mean, we'd have to say the sprint performance was absolutely fantastic, qualifying and the race. Lewis gets his first pole and first win in the red team. To recover from being shafted the week before and to prepare himself for being shafted the following afternoon.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah. One car's underweight, the other car's too low.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's not being disqualified for one same issue. It's two.
Yep.
Two different issues.
Yep. So the car that weighed enough was set up too low, and the car that didn't weigh enough, they just didn't take into account that they might have to one stop. I mean, if Lewis had one stopped, it'd have probably been underweight as well. It's just that they looked at the skid blocks and didn't bother weighing the car, I think.
Yeah, 0.5 millimetre.
He's done the disappearing thing again.
Oh, right.
Is he going to...
Again, I thought that might be my internet.
He's going to come back as Giant Flood anytime. He could probably still hear us again. so don't make too many jokes about him. But yeah, the you lose the plank. Well, that's obviously an issue.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if that car was underweight as well, but they didn't bother doing the full checks. Because I think the way that they do the checks, it's a random number of cars that are examined, and then if they find something illegal on one car, they automatically do a full check on the other car from that team.
Oh, okay.
Which is why the Lewis issue came out later than the Charles issue.
Got you.
Because if they'd found it's underweight, it's like, right, okay, now we'll move on to Lewis, because all 20 cars are in parc fermé conditions until the scrutineers release them.
Yeah.
And I think that's how they found out Lewis's problem. But yeah, it's utterly embarrassing with it being a different issue.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
2 separate issues, neither the same on each car. Extremely embarrassing. And other teams have probably done it and got away with it because they haven't been checked. But Ferrari do not have the purchase to make silly errors like this. A double disqualification. It's hilarious.
I've got to admit, yes, it is. Next on the list we have Alpine, and the annotation note, footnote, whatever for this is Gash.
Should we just double check? Is Chris back?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I never left.
You were cut off in your prime by the powers that be.
Sounds familiar.
So, Alpine, Gash. Jack Doohan's looking slightly better.
Mm-hmm.
Getting his feet under the table a bit, sort of, the classic 3 or 4 races to get used to Formula One. But then Gasly disqualified. So they are in the same ballpark, if you will, as Ferrari. And like, you can't miscalculate these things. This is like literally your only job.
Doohan, well, you say looking better. He did pick up 4 penalty points on his license this weekend. He is a third of the way to a race ban.
Yeah.
After one race.
Yes.
Okay.
I think technically it was 1 in the sprint, 1 in the main race, but yeah.
Yeah. What did you say, Paul? Is he going to get to? What's he going to get to first? The penalty points or
banned or sacked?
Yeah.
We need a fanfare for that, I think, Kieran. It's that sounds like a feature. Banned or sacked.
This is why Red Bull are trying to get hold of Colapinto now, because there's a very good chance he's going to be needed soon.
In 3 races' time, by the looks of things.
But are we all forgetting that Franco Colapinto was brilliant at not keeping it on the track in his last few races?
Yeah, he did do some big crashing, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's sort of he breaks even, doesn't he? The crashes he has, he can pay for.
Yeah,
he's net neutral.
Yeah, whereas Doohan, well, he's got a threatening dad, so that's always a good start to a career in F1. But yeah, the Alpine situation. I mean, last season at the start they were absolutely laughable. They got better. At the moment, again, the car was underweight, and a one-stopper as well, I do believe, causing it to be underweight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yet again.
Yeah. These teams allegedly have strategists paying an absolute fortune for this. And the first thing that they always tell drivers on the cool-down lap is pick up as much marbles as possible.
Yep.
For the weight. And you could have picked up another bloody car and it wouldn't have helped him.
Well, I think going back to Ferrari, Leclerc was a kilogram underweight, a full kilogram.
Yep.
Which the bit that broke off was not a kilogram's worth of weight. So
they put a replacement front wing.
Yeah,
on.
And it was 200 grams, I think, wasn't it? The difference between the broken one and the like as it should be one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that to still be a kilogram is Yeah, it's not good, guys. That's not good at all. So I don't know what it was with Gasly, but I mean, you Formula One teams shouldn't be and can't be making these errors. If they're going to calculate that at the beginning, one stopper, be like, okay, maybe we need to lift and coast at some point during the race so that we weigh as much as we're supposed to at the end.
Yeah, because it's 2 kilos of fuel that they take out at the end.
Yes.
So, yes, if they'd have had a kilo more fuel left, then they'd have been all right.
Mm.
But, yeah, lift and coast on a one-stopper makes sense. Not just go all out for it. I mean, he finished 11th anyway. Or he crossed the line 11th.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 11th asterisk, though, isn't it? That's the problem.
Yeah, well, yeah. Provisional classification 11th.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, this is Gasly.
This is Gasly.
Oh, no, yeah. So this is almost the hilarious thing as well. You don't get any points. It doesn't work out for you. Leclerc gets disqualified. Result, I'm up to 10th. You've been disqualified. Damn. It's you've got to take the opportunities when teams around you are effing up. Don't do it yourself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how many times do we see during, I guess, from many years ago, races where people have gone, you're tight on fuel, lots of lift and coast please. We see it quite often. We didn't hear that message once during the race, apart from Lando doing it voluntarily because his brake pedal was about the width of a passport.
Yeah, so Ferrari and Alpine are two teams with only themselves to blame.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Aston Martin pretty much have themselves to blame as well.
Tosh. Is the word.
So they're just crap, aren't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So the fire with Alonso's brakes, that could have been anything. That could have been a little bit of Charles Leclerc's front wing getting caught in his brakes.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been like a bit of grit, a bit of sand or something, gravel kicked up by one of the drivers at some point. We just don't know. So that is unlucky for Fernando Alonso. It shouldn't happen, but it does. And why it had to happen in the opening laps, I don't know. But Stroll he started on hard tyres. And he was driving like he was fighting these people coming out of the pits. Like he was racing them for actual position on the track. Like they were the people he was fighting for the race win. It's like, no, Lance, what are you doing? Do the thing that you're supposed to do and race your race and let those guys do their race. Because you'll only slow yourself down eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And look at what happened. Look at where he finished. And he lucked into points because 3 people ahead of him got disqualified.
Yeah. Well, he was basically on the same strategy as Ollie Behrman. Then, because Ollie Behrman, do I remember right that Ollie Behrman had about 3 or 4 pops at Lance Stroll before he went, fuck this, I'm off to the pits. And Lance, at that point, should look at that and go, oh, we're on the same tyre. We're hards, with 7th and 8th.
They were on the same bit of track, weren't they, generally? They were close to each other.
He's going to undercut me. I better get in next lap. And instead he went, no, I'll pit in 10 laps time. How far behind is Behrman now? Oh, behind? No, he's like 10 seconds down the road.
And making a lot of ground up as well. Behrman did that medium, that late race medium run really well. But we'll get onto Haas in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But did anyone else just notice Stroll just being an actual moving roadblock?
At least he was moving. It's an upgrade.
He was just like a rolling chicane, wasn't he? Just bizarre.
Yeah, people were passing him for fun.
Well, when they could, because I mean, he was fighting people. That's what I can't understand. Like, okay, like Lando Norris and George Russell were like, I think when Russell came out of the pits and ahead of Lando, they had that sort of little battle. It was ruined by Lance Stroll thinking, I'm in this fight with you boys. It's like, no, you're not. You're really not. You're nowhere near this fight. Stop it. Okay, it is for track position, but you're going to lose out anyway. Let these guys go and save your tyres for, I don't know, fighting with Oliver Behrman.
Mm-hmm.
He knows better because his dad owns the team.
No, he doesn't.
I'm not going. I was going to go down conspiracy theorist route of they're breaking Alonso's car to make him better. They're not. I know they're not. I'm being silly, but Lance Stroll has lucked into 10 points this season. I reckon without the luck, he would have got no points this weekend, and he might have got a point in Australia. 1 point was on the cards in Australia after Alonso binned it.
Still makes him a candidate for the second Red Bull seat.
Very much so. Very, very much so. Deep pockets for Strolls. It might work out. But, I'm not sure actually. But what I said last week's podcast that Stroll having 8 points is borderline unassailable in a year where 8 drivers are always going to be in the top 8 places and you've got only 3 other points available across the weekend. What we've seen this weekend is that we don't have 8 drivers at the top.
No.
We probably have 6.5. Antonelli will get there. He will be. He won't be behind Ocon in weekends to come. I think he will be up with the sort of whoever. He will be 7th quite firmly. We don't know what's happening at Red Bull, but it shows that points are on offer.
Mm-hmm.
And Alonso
He's still there relying on the Ferraris presenting a legal car.
Yeah, that's a
exactly.
Good point. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so he's not going to be one of the top 4 cars of the McLarens, Russell and Max. But yeah, there is a. Then I now take back what I say. I think points are actually quite readily available to the right team on the weekend, and Aston Martin may well be one of them. They're not the 5th strongest car this year. They're probably the 7th or 8th strongest car. But they can be opportunistic when they need to be, or rather Lance has been.
Yeah, I would agree.
He's still not. I don't like him, but he's done very well.
I don't think there's anything more to add to that.
No.
No, there isn't.
I've got one other bit of Lance Stroll content from the weekend, which I think from Saturday Notebook, I want to say, which would have been the Pedro de la Rosa one. I don't know if you spied this, Chris. When I think Lando literally had to walk from his pit garage to the paddock, and he got absolutely mobbed by.
Oh yeah, no, I did see that. I know what you're going to say. Yeah,
because I'm hoping I wasn't the only one who saw Lance Stroll do the slowest walk from one building to another, wave at the camera, say hi to Ted, walk even slower, then signal someone to come over. No one appears, and he walks into the paddock by himself.
I saw that, but I don't remember that bit.
Oh, no. Yeah. That was a real, and the crowd goes somewhere else.
And they absolutely did. Yeah. 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 The fact that he beckoned somebody over as well, and there's nobody showed up.
Oh my god! I mean, he does have the personality of a lump of 2x4. Right, next up, Sauber, still slow as shit.
Anonymous Sauber have returned.
Like little unfair. I mean, Bortoletto spun on lap 1, and then pitted fairly early because he killed his starting tyres, and I think did some front wing damage as well. Possibly.
He did, and he found himself something like 26, 27 seconds behind the car in front of him, made all that time up, and still didn't finish. I don't think he finished plumb last, did he, Bortoletto? Wasn't Tsunoda plumb last, but then he had problems.
Yes, because he had his imploding front wing, didn't he?
Yeah. Bortoletto did finish in front of Hülkenberg, who lost 7 places off the start, and I haven't got a bloody clue what happened.
Yeah, anonymous Sauber, but Bortoletto, I think, I really think, in the 2 weekends we've seen him so far, I think he's fantastic, but in an awful car.
Yeah. He got a bit unlucky in the sprint race on the penultimate corner. Jack Doohan decided he should be the other way around.
That was what got Jack Doohan some of his penalty points.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you have to say some.
Yes, not all of them, just some.
Oh, hang on. I've just found the cyber press release. What happened? Oh, according to Hulkenberg, it was a character building day for them.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right after the start, I went wide in turn 1, then almost lost the car in turn 3. Went off through the gravel, lost a couple of positions, 7. But frustratingly, I picked up substantial damage to the floor, which seriously affected the aero balance.
Oh, that'll do it.
When you're having a character building day, isn't that supposed to be like a field trip or something? It's not whilst you're at work.
Yeah, I mean, our last one, we all went to Laser Mayhem and shot each other.
It's building of some kind of character, I guess, yeah.
We could work out who hated who, because they were the ones that got shot the most. In the back, if they were on your own team. So, yes, it was, just anonymous Sauber again.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It's probably more accurate to their perceived pace than last weekend. But you're right, Chris. Bortoletto seems to be a star.
Yeah, I really think he's going to be special.
Yeah, Bortoletto described Sunday as not ideal.
That also seems a fair assessment, yes.
And the position wasn't favourable. He's looking forward to Suzuka, even though he's never driven there, but he's been on the sim quite a lot. As have I. We did Sebring this weekend and finished 14th in class.
Hooray! How many hours of it was it?
Only 12.
I don't know why I did that. But yeah. Cool.
But well done to Axel and Adam and Jane for being an ace team and generally ace all round. We rise again. I think Le Mans next, possibly.
Ooh.
Right, who have we got after that? RB. Good single lap pace, bad race pace, needs stronger glue.
Yeah, that's a really weird failure, isn't it? It just went the front wing on Tsunoda. And
I don't think it was caused by running over a curb or hitting anything, because
it was just done.
The end plate was still there. It was just the planes fell off.
He did run wide at the hairpin, did he? He ran wide at the hairpin, and then he rounded the last corner, and then it was whilst he was on his way down the straight that it went. So I don't know if it running wide maybe shook it loose, but even still, your bonding glue should be stronger than that.
Yeah. Although there was a quality radio message along the same lines with a broken front wing. Because obviously after Charles drove into Lewis and knackered his front wing, he was saying on the radio that he was still slow in Sector 2, so the answer to that was, can you try and do a lap without using the curbs? To which his answer was, no.
No. Yeah, I sort of heard that. Yeah, Yuki's message would probably not have done him a great service of perhaps getting the Red Bull seat, should Red Bull be considering that. Like, okay, you've got a broken front wing, you need to pit. Broken front wing for what?
He's a passionate and driven individual.
I enjoy Tsunoda on the radio. He's good fun.
We don't know Yuki. Just pit, will you? Come on. I didn't do anything. All right, you didn't do anything, but it's broken.
I mean, we were sat here waiting for the meatball. Which I don't think it actually came.
I'm not sure if it did or not.
I did put in our Discord chat.
They put him within one lap, didn't they? So it happened, and they called him straight in.
I think it did about 2 laps with the damage. But I did put on our Discord chat, because there's always a load of us on Discord while the race is on the text chat. Why haven't they called him in yet? And the message. This is possibly the bitterest American F1 fans message I have ever seen. Because the reply came back, he's not in a Haas.
Oh,
Haas, of course, went through more meatballs than Subway last year.
Oh, God. I walked past I think this was an off-air conversation, my absolutely fucking awful trip to the post office earlier. I walked past a Subway which is offering for Easter any sub you want in a foot-long hot cross bun.
Ooh, not sure about that. No.
I was a fan of Subway when you could go in and be like, I want that bread, and I want those meats, and that salad, and this sauce, and thank you very much. But then they were like, oh, no, you got to pick something that's already kind of on the menu. I'm like, well, that's not have it your way, is it? I'm never coming back here again.
Very
and then
good point. Yeah.
And then they closed the Subways on the Isle of Man.
I went to the first one that opened over it, but it'd been going about a week. And I got in the queue behind somebody very, very Manx. And I just want a ham sandwich with none of that fancy shit on. So they start putting some ham. Do you want it cheese and toasted? Where's the butter?
What a thing to shout!
Yeah, that's why it didn't last over here, I think.
Yeah.
We've gone from Sauber to Subway. That is how good Sauber were. Oh no, we're RB, weren't we?
We were on
RB. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got to see Isaac Hadjar doing some racing, and he looks like he will come to terms with that car.
Yes.
Best of
absolutely. Qualified. Yeah. Again, that like I put on the notes, there's good single lap pace, and they do appear to be up there, right? Really up there, sort of mixing it with the top 6 or 7 when they've got single lap pace. But yeah, when the car is full of fuel, they do go backwards a bit.
I'm just going to break in because Kieran has sent a picture of this advert. And who in their right mind wants a bacon, cheese, and brown sauce bap with raisins?
This is the currants of the hot cross bun. I think is my main issue with it.
It
with
looks
a savoury filling.
The picture looks like they've murdered 2 dogs and made them into sandwiches.
Yeah. The eyes are not helpful.
No, they are not helpful.
What it also looks
sorry
like,
for your loss.
It also looks like they've made this and then added some extra currants in just to try and make it look a bit more curranty. Those currants are very on the outside.
Yeah, it looks like a chocolate chip brioche.
Yeah, it's been cut in half, yet somehow all the currants are whole.
Yeah,
no, I still go with the dogs.
Imagine having a panettone sandwich of cheese and bacon. No. It's off.
And the fact that it's a cheese and bacon and brown sauce sandwich, you either have brown sauce or cheese, not both.
I mean,
cheese and pickle though.
Bacon, cheese, and pickle.
Yeah,
it's
a good idea.
I'm all right, thank you. I'm a no sauce person.
Like Paul Rudd.
Is he a no sauce person? I was not aware.
Paul Rudd doesn't have any condiments on anything.
Excellent. Good to know.
If he has an egg, he has to have it broken and nuked, essentially.
Right.
He does like to make his own Yorkshire puddings at home, though, because his mum is English.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, I hope at least he has gravy on them.
I've no idea. If having no condiments, so I'm going to guess not.
Yeah, it's on. I think Ashlyn B said it on Off Menu that they went out several times in New York, and if something came with a sauce, he'd return it, saying, "I'm really sorry. I know you're looking at my face, and I'm some Hollywood prick. I just can't stand sauce."
If I got surprise sauce, I'd probably be miffed about it. Sauce on the side, but yeah, if you're not expecting sauce and suddenly the sauce everywhere, that is a shit show.
Yeah, I can't have over sauce.
No.
I mean, you have Eggs Benedict with the minimal amount of hollandaise.
Yes, you don't need that much. And you don't want it over everything. You want to be able to apply it to the bit you want in the moment. You don't want it all over the fucking place.
Middle class argument of the week.
Eggs Ben.
Why? This Eggs Benedict has too much birdies.
So yes, Isaac Hadjar. I think he may, helmet Marco permitting, have a decent career in front of him, and I think they have made a good choice getting him into F1.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, great F2 driver, so there's absolutely no reason why he shouldn't be really good in Formula One. The fact that he lost out so marginally to Bortoleto, and Bortoleto, as I say, does look really good in the glimpses that we've seen of him so far. Give Hadjar time. Whether he'll get time or not in that team, I don't know. He'll probably be put in the big boy team before he knows it. But yeah, the Hadjar looks good. Tsunoda was unlucky. That's just the story of Sunday for RB.
What I would say is shocking strategy. Had they stayed out on their hards, they might, post disqualification, they might have a number of points. Doing the 2-stop and seeing no one else do it was a shocker. I think they've thrown away points with the team. It's unbelievable that Tsunoda has all that pace, but they only have 2 points, 3 points so far.
Yeah, and again, the lost out on strategy in Australia. They need to take a bloody good look at the data, because if the car is similar to the Red Bull and there's going to be 600 sensors, and okay, they won't have 400 staff, but they will still have a couple of people just to work out what the hell they're doing. As to who we're going to see in that car next week, not got a clue.
I would be really surprised if they completely sacked Liam Lawson.
Yeah,
it doesn't
we've got a short list, haven't we?
I would be surprised, but not shocked.
Yeah.
I think at this point it looks bad on them if they sack Lawson completely, that they've put someone in who after 2 races they decide is not worthy of any of their cars. At this point they can swap Lawson and Tsunoda and argue that they're doing it to try and understand where the cars are rather than the drivers.
I mean, at least even Robert Doorknobs they gave 3 weeks to.
Was it 3 races in the end he got?
Yeah, at the end of the season, didn't bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what we're about to see is something which tells more on Red Bull as an organisation than Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda, Isaac Hadjar, Ayumu Iwasa, Franco Colapinto as drivers, whoever does end up in that merry-go-round of seats. They're going to embarrass themselves before doing any great credence to their drivers. I hope. I hope that this isn't one of those things where next week or in 2 weeks' time in Japan we're going, oh, Liam Lawson qualified 20th, finished 18th again, boo, because it just can't be the case. It can't be. And I realise I did that for years, but I think with Perez, time had run out. We haven't even started with Liam Lawson.
No.
Perez had at one point during his Red Bull time been second, third, and comparable to Verstappen, and had slipped back. With Lawson, he's not had the chance to show that.
Yeah, correct. You can't flip back from here. There is no back.
I mean, remember when Perez said that he thought he had a World Drivers' Championship in him when he was in Red Bull? And how we laughed at that. Like, yeah, they'll let him. You've got as much chance as Eddie Irvine had in a Ferrari.
Oh, well timed.
Oh!
I don't even have a drum kit here. A drum machine is the other side of the room, but we'll ignore that for now.
Yeah, my kit's in pieces upstairs and not plugged in.
Mine's under a blanket, which I can't run to quickly enough.
Next up, Williams, double points, asterisk.
Yeah, Carlos Sainz got 10th, didn't he, after the disqualifications? It was a tough weekend for Carlos Sainz. He struggled all weekend. We saw a glimpse of him doing quite well in Australia, and then obviously he didn't do well in the race at all. And then he's struggled. He's not bounced back this weekend gone at all. Albon though still doing really well, managing to get that Williams up into the top 10, being really happy getting that Williams into Q3. Celebrated it like a win. He was punching the air and everything. It was nice to see. But yeah, it's everybody thinking, oh, Sainz is going to put Albon away. Looks like they might be wrong.
Yeah, I still stand by my point last week that I think those are the best pair on the grid for working together.
Yeah, and I think over the season it will flip-flop a bit, I think, won't it? There'll probably be a couple of races where Sainz is the stronger one, then Albon will have a good race, and it'll sort of go back and forth a bit.
I think there'll be certain tracks where that'll definitely favour one over the other. But no, it'll be good to see how Williams play out the rest of the season. And what they are not doing is making a big show of how friendly the drivers are and how well they work together, which tells me that they actually do and they don't need to go and plug it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I still take the Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button we're great mates videos.
Mm-hmm. I think Sainz did do an Instagram story where he presented Albon with a cake for his birthday. I think that did happen over the weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, happy birthday, Alex Albon, for Sunday. But, yeah, Williams coming along nicely. In cake terms, not quite done yet. Needs another 5 minutes point and put the icing on.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll try and not get any more cake cliches in because I don't think I've got any.
I think that we've heard a lot pre-season about Sainz going to demolish Albon. Albon's not going to live up to X, Y, and Z. But yeah, it's early days. But Albon was always fine. It's just and I know we saw a bit of a wobble in Colapinto game in last year, but that's going to be a very strong team in 3 or 4 races time.
Yeah,
it won't be a strong team in Japan. It may not be in Bahrain, maybe not Saudi Arabia, but by Miami, that's going to be in Teflon.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. Next up, we have Haas.
Nosebleed territory.
Yes,
much
this is
better.
late to be talking about Haas.
It really is.
They have in one weekend got 14 points.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't do my Sauber joke earlier.
Oh, go on.
Well, in Australia, Sauber got more points than they got in all of 2024. In China, they got as many points as they did in 2014.
Hey.
Wow. There you go.
Was that Felipe Nasser, Marcus Ericsson?
Yes.
Oh, what a pairing.
Yeah, I remember.
14, was that then?
Those heady days of Sauber.
It was, what was it? Longbow Capital Sauber.
Yeah. The blue and white and yellow car.
Yes.
Ugly thing.
Yeah, didn't Ericsson and Nasser absolutely despise each other as well, and they kept crashing into each other, and everyone thought it wasn't accidental?
That I don't remember as such, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Did Manisha Kaltenborn have to sit them down and read them the riot act?
Oh, Christ knows.
All 12 of her drivers.
Yes. Was that the Guido van der Gaard year?
I think that was a year after, wasn't it? Possibly. Maybe that was the year. Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been the year after, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Sauber have always been the comedy team, just not intentionally.
No.
Yeah, they're sort of... yeah, I've got nothing really to add.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were slow, and we were talking about Haas, who
were anything
brilliant.
but slow.
Yeah.
I really wasn't convinced with them taking on Ocon. He's changing my mind. He's actually fitting in well there, and
quite a weighty middle finger to Alpine, Matt.
And he's not tried to commit teammate aside.
I don't particularly remember anything about Ocon's race either. I think he just kind of. I think there were a couple of passes. I think, but
got his head down
with it. Yeah,
got his head down. Yeah. Did well. Behrman, like you said, Chris, had a fantastic stint on the mediums, and he is one to look for in the future. I can't wait until he leaves Ferrari and joins a team that's not going to fuck him over.
But yeah, when we look at the future of F1, we got Behrman, Bortoletto, and Hadjar as like the future stars who are already in the sport. They're only a couple of races in. Well, Behrman a few more races in, but looking really good already. They know what they're doing. They've come in and they know what they're doing. I'd add Antonelli to that list as well because I think he was quietly really good again this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But
Antonelli, driver of the day, although Bono thinks that's down to the demographics.
I might agree.
I had Behrman down.
I would have gone for Behrman.
Yeah, I would have said that.
Yeah, Oliver Behrman was my driver of the day. Esteban Ocon scooped up all of those places when everybody got disqualified. So where did he end up finishing? Fifth?
Yes.
Fifth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's 10 points.
Yeah.
Take that, Stroll.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those you have to be there to be able to make the most of it.
Totally.
It's the fine margins, isn't it? The margins are going to be really, really small this year anyway. But the difference in the midfield, the difference between where Haas finished in Australia and Haas finished in China is literally somebody else making a fuck up, and the fact that they took advantage of having a split strategy. That's literally what it came down to.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the standings. I mean, Ocon is 7th in the Drivers' Championship.
Two races, but still funny.
Yeah,
Very funny.
He's ahead of both Ferraris. Carlos Sainz as well.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had two in a sprint.
Yeah.
And he's finding himself in the heady heights of 7th, the Hulk position.
I mean, before the race yesterday, he did have nil. He had nada. So this is a one race performance, but that's you got to be there on the day.
Yeah. Just want to see Haas spend some money on the car in a final season of regulations and keep up there, and let's have a fight next year for the best American team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. People have been saying, we need an American team in F1. Well, tell you what, let's have two fighting each other for bragging rights. They're not going to be fighting each other for championships, obviously, at first.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, come on, let's have some bragging rights. If F1 wants to make the big push into the US or continue with the current big push, then give all of America something extra to cheer on.
Yeah.
In other words, Haas, don't fuck up.
Someone on Reddit has converted the F1 points into what if it was NASCAR.
The NASCAR point system is wild.
Yeah, it's like you can smell the banjo, like the only person with no points is Alonso.
Oh,
that is. I thought you got participation points in NASCAR.
I thought you got points for fire in NASCAR.
Although, as we did see watching the race last night, NASCAR's unusual fire technique, somebody tried to kick a fire out.
That was amazing. And then when they got the fire extinguisher, weren't pointing it at the fire and seemed quite surprised that the fire was still going.
Stupid fire, get away from me. Kick.
That's very much the I don't like that tornado. Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, what was it, the line in Independence Day? Los Angelinos have been asked not to fire guns at the spaceship that's hovering over their city at the moment. Right, Red Bull. One-man team, which I think that's all you can say. I mean, we said a lot about Red Bull at the top of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd just be repeating ourselves by saying, it's got to be the car. It's got to be the car.
Well, Max did a fantastic job putting it on the front row for the sprint on Saturday. And, I think he did a pretty good sprint race given, what we think the pace of the McLarens is as well. So that was an all right performance from Red Bull. I think that was 90% Max, 10% Red Bull. But I think that's what Max's results are at the moment. I think he's extracting literally everything he can out of that car. He dropped back a hell of a lot in the opening stint of the Grand Prix on Sunday. And it's just like, oh, is Max babying his tires? Nope, he just didn't have the pace of a car that's full of fuel. He was pushing that hard, but he was. The nature of that circuit, he was the gap, he was the cork in the bottle almost for everyone behind him. Had he pitted early or had an issue or something like Fernando Alonso did, I think those gaps would have been a lot less than they were. It's just that the gap from Red Bull to the other cars, they appear to be the fourth team out of the four at the moment, but Max is that good a driver that he's able to put that car up third, second, in and around the podium, giving it a fighting chance of getting as many points as possible. But yeah. I genuinely think if you put Max Verstappen, and I know Jane called you an idiot for this, Kieran, but if you put Max Verstappen in an RB, I think he'd do better than he's doing in a Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to clarify that I don't think she used the words idiot. I think, and probably an hour ago, she just shouted at her phone because I think when I said, Max should go in at RB and then we'll see what's going on, she did a very quick swivel to the left on the sofa going, I think that's what I'll qualify that as in you're speaking nonsense, but I'm not actually calling you an idiot. I just want to put that asterisk in because I'm in Berlin for the next 6 days. I don't want her to be annoyed with me 2,000 miles away. I love you and I miss you already.
And like I say, I don't think there's any further we can go on that without just repeating everything we've already said at the start. And we've still got to get two more teams. And is that Glock in tonight?
Yes.
Should we do a round table guess of who's going to be in the second Red Bull for Japan?
Liam Lawson.
I also am going to go Lawson.
I will also say Lawson.
I'm also going to say Lawson.
Oh, we're all very safe, aren't we?
It's a shame because I've got a spinning wheel sound effect, which I'll whip out next time we have a Red Bull driver mix up and we can see who's going to be in the seat.
Outside chance of Pastor Maldonado.
No.
No.
Very. Who has to die for Pastor Maldonado to get the seat?
Albert Marco.
Mahavir Raghunathan.
Ooh.
Bring him back. We need the comedy. Right, Mercedes. Good race. Antonelli really looks quite special.
Yeah,
yes.
He was driver of the day. I'm not saying it wasn't deserved. I just think Behrman deserved it more.
Mm-hmm.
He's literally just joined that team and looks like he's been there for a year already.
Did they say afterwards as well that he had an issue that they hadn't particularly told him about because they didn't want to put him off, but there was an issue with the car?
Oh, I hadn't heard that, but yeah, that would. I think that happens.
He ran over 2 bits of Leclerc debris on lap 1. I think I read.
That'd be it.
I mean, Leclerc did leave quite a bit of debris.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And George Russell did really well to get into third, have that little battle, as we said before, with Lando for second around the pit stops. It's just, the pace of the Mercedes and the race pace of the Ferrari. To me, at the moment, I'd say McLaren probably the top team. Well, definitely the top team. Mercedes second. Ferrari third on pace, and then Red Bull fourth. I would say those top 4 teams at the moment from the opening 2 races that we've seen. Obviously, characteristics of the tracks and everything else is gonna change that order up a little bit, but that is it overall from the 2 weekends that I've got so far. But so I think Russell's done really well to put that in third place, pretty much exactly where a second team should be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Mercedes have made strides since last season because they never called the car a diva. They just tried to describe it all season without using the word diva because I think they can only divify the car when it wins everything and claim that they're winning despite themselves.
Yeah, it just looks very sure of itself, doesn't it, Mercedes? They're not squirrely. They're not. What's going on with Mercedes there? George Russell's all over the place. Even in practice sessions, it's planted to the race circuit, and they just build the speed as it goes on, which is exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, And as an advert for looking out for new buyers for the 1/3 of the team that Jim Radcliffe has gotten him, I am convinced he will try and offload, was a good advert.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe all the One Direction fans can club together and buy it, because obviously Kimi Antonelli is the new Harry Styles.
Okay.
I missed that. What happened there? Did he join One Direction?
Well, no, but he's got the team demographic for all the Driver of the Day votes probably came in via TikTok.
He is. Oh no, that sounds weird. I'm not going to say it. Open my mouth before I engage brain.
You've started now, haven't you?
Yeah. I was going to call him a cutie, but I'd just like to clarify that that's not in any weird way a representation of my actual thoughts for him. I think it's just that a lot of people deem him to be a bit like Charles when he went to Ferrari at first. He's just a crushable guy.
You could have actually got yourself out of that completely just by adding...
Did I not?
My mum would say.
I'm not going to play that game on here.
I cannot play that game, and Paul knows why.
Very much so. Right, McLaren. Their 50th 1-2 in all the time they've been in F1. I really thought there'd have been more.
And only their 6th 1-2 since Hakkinen and Coulthard.
Oh, wow.
Blimey.
Yeah.
That's quite a shocker.
Two for Lando and Piastri, 1 for Lando and Danny Rick, and then I think Kimi and Montoya have 1, Kimi and Coulthard have 1, and Lewis and Fernando have 2, I think, actually. So it might be only their 7th since Hakkinen and Coulthard.
So never Hamilton and Button.
Not
Good
as 1-2,
point.
I don't think. Yeah,
Oh,
I don't
how
think
long
Hamilton
did
and
they
Button finished first and second.
Didn't they got 1-2 when they had a bit of a fallout at Turkey one year? Oh, I'm getting it up.
Yeah, but you're looking the answer up as well.
Was that the same year that Vettel and Webber had their falling out at Turkey?
That it would have been that race.
Mm.
That was 2010, Turkey 2010, I think, from memory. If you Google it and it's wrong, I'm not to be held responsible.
We did get a message last week from someone saying that their favourite bit of the show was when we were all Googling things at the same time. I don't know what that says about what they like to listen to or this show.
Yeah, that was a McLaren 1-2 for Hamilton and Button.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've got it here. So Piastri and Norris have had 2. Ricciardo and Norris have had 1. Hamilton and Button have had 3. 1 that Button won, 2 that Hamilton won. And then Alonso and Hamilton have 4. This is a shit start.
Where have you got this 6 from then?
Is it the 6th? Is it the 6th?
Is the number divisible by 6?
Only the 11th since Hakkinen and Coulthard, which isn't that much of a stat when you consider it's over 23 years.
Is it only the 6th driver pairing since Hakkinen and Coulthard?
1, 2, 3, 4. Only the 5th driver pairing since
The reason
the number
I was
6 is not part of this at all.
Right,
then.
I got you out of that one.
The reason I was so sure that it was the Button and Hamilton would not have had a 1-2 was because they were teammates when Vettel was winning every weekend.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was like, oh no, they wouldn't have had a 1-2. They had plenty of 2 and 3s. but yeah, no, fair enough. 4 1-2s is a good return.
But
for
yeah,
the years they spent together.
But Piastri taking his first pole.
Yes.
And he's now 100% on converting poles to wins.
And just a nice bounce back after Australia as well. Obviously, particularly like in front of the home crowd, would have been very disappointed. But to immediately come back from that is good mental recovery.
One thing I have to say about Piastri, he just strikes me as being very dull.
He's laid back.
Yes, laid back is where the polite description. Yeah.
No, I think he is laid back. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's an Aussie. He's not meant to be.
Yeah, I think when he got pole on Saturday, was his response over the radio something like, "Very good." It was a very sort of, yep, okay.
A poll has taken place.
Matter of fact and to the point.
Yeah,
Lando, car problems.
Oh.
The ever lengthening brake pedal.
Well, he was second before. He was second, and he was going to finish second before the brake problem, wasn't he? So
yeah, I mean, he managed to hang on to it. He lost a hell of a lot of time in those last half dozen laps, though.
Yeah. Well, the last lap it was just the last lap. He lost he lost like 6 seconds on the final lap to George Russell, I think.
Yeah, and he did sort of the wrong thing. He said, "Oh, my brake pedal's long, but I'm going to carry on as it is." The team turn around and go, "Nah, nothing to worry about." Then another lap later, brake pedal going longer. Oh, that's a bit odd. Another lap. Oh, that is quite odd. And then 2 laps later, everything's critical and you need to slow down. We're going to win the championship together, not by doing this. And Lando's just sitting there going, "I'm driving. I just reported a long brake." If you started slowing down the second you report a long brake pedal, he would have finished 17th. He's got to carry on driving. He's got to go quick enough until it gets critical, which was sadly those last 2 laps.
Yeah. So he was like proper lift and coast, and did we find out what the issue was? Was it that his brake pads were just that badly worn, or was it?
Well, no, they said it was all in the pedal. It wasn't in the brake system. Basically, I think the pedal had just come loose.
That's not ideal.
No, because unlike the accelerator in F1 cars, brake pedals work by force, so they're held in place. I think you've got, they take up to, 450 kilos of force to get full brake. Whereas in most other cars, it's, and I'm including racing cars in this, it's a darn sight less.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of force for a brake pedal.
That's how it works. And of course, it's brake by wire, so the pedal isn't directly or mechanically connected to the brake system on any corner of the car.
Yeah, so that would dispel sort of brake pad wear or anything.
Yeah, so it was just an iffy brake pedal construction.
Yeah.
Because the feedback that you get from the brake pedal through your foot is purely artificial.
Yeah, but it was not difficult for McLaren, though, was it? Even though we're sat here talking about Lando Norris's issues in the last couple of laps. I mean, it could have been a 1-3, which we still would have sat here being like, "Oh, well done, McLaren." But like, it's still a 1-2. Piastri cruised. Let's be honest, he cruised. Anytime Norris sort of edged up to him, Piastri just pulled away a little bit. It was probably the easiest win for Oscar Piastri that he's had so far.
Yeah.
Now, is this going to cause problems with them in the future? This season, if they can both win?
Yeah, well, of course it is. Because there's going to come a point where one of them's in front and the other one's going to be told, "Oh no, it's okay. I mean, you're free to race, but do it cleanly," and it's just not going to happen. There will be contact. There will be, whether that's wheel rubbing or race finishing contact or an actual crash that sends them both out at that corner. Who knows? But there will come a time where Andrea Stella and Zach Brown have to do some serious PR. And that is the nature of having 2 drivers who can win a world championship.
Are we going to see a repeat of Mercedes 2016?
Every chance, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, McLaren. Yeah. McLaren headline: they've hired Paddy Lowe to be on the radio at the last race of the season.
I'm really worried we're going to see McLaren 2007.
I mean, we saw last year, didn't we? They were very reluctant to pick a favourite driver. There were a few times where we thought they're going to switch them around because it will favour Norris, and Norris quite obviously had that advantage in the championship. Particularly if they're closer this year. They were so reluctant to do it last year.
Yeah, Lando let Oscar past at your convenience.
Yes, it's never convenient.
There could be a little bit of real life soap opera in there, unlike the Drive to Survive soap opera, which isn't real. Spoiler.
Yeah, a decent race from McLaren. I think they were strong. I think they got a little bit of hubris over sprint qualifying and also sprint race as well. But what's Andrea Stella's saying? I don't know if this is an Italian idiom or if this is just Andrea Stella talking. But he says, "We don't eat the biscuit."
Oh, okay.
He would not fit in on this podcast.
So I'm going to Google.
Andrea, what a game!
I'm going to Google this now. Don't eat the biscuit.
Sounds like something you'd say in public school.
Apparently it's a Squid Game thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, right. Okay.
I was going to say, 'cause unless it was like a Claudio Ranieriism when he never used to be able to get the metaphors right and once came out with whatever floats your bicycle.
Well, I like that one. That's good. Sorry, it's don't eat the poison biscuit. Sorry, I've not framed that exactly correctly.
Ah, right. I mean, the poison biscuit must be similar to the poison chalice, which is the second Red Bull.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Or Ferrari team principle.
So I've just don't eat the poison biscuit as a Google search, and one of the things that's come up is a news story from 2015. Toxic biscuits kill 14 monkeys in India.
Oh.
No, sorry. I shouldn't have laughed. My bad.
And on that, rock stars and that, rock stars and wankers, and the first wanker is whoever poisoned those biscuits.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Don't eat the poison biscuit.
Right, wankers. Ferrari.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat something I said in the chat group. Ferrari have an unrivaled power of grabbing wankers from the jaws of rock stars.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that is how the original rock stars and wankers came about, isn't it? So,
well, yeah.
You know.
And I still am determined that when Gunther Steiner does his one-man show over here, I'm going to get him to record an intro for the rock stars and wankers.
Yeah.
I'm going to chuck Alpine in there for making the same mistake as Ferrari.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not realising that a car can lose weight if they don't run it to plan when everything's set to such fine margins.
Yeah. He hasn't done anything yet completely, but let's get a provisional wanker in for Helmut.
Yeah, just generally.
Yeah, pre-wanker.
Yeah.
Stroll, just for driving like a
being
flange.
in the way.
I mean, he's entitled to race for position, but at the same time, he probably would have saved himself so much time. So yeah, he goes in the wanker category.
Yeah.
Aston Martin in general, do we think? I mean, it's not really Aston Martin's fault, I suppose, is it, that Alonso retired? So that seems a bit harsh.
Yuki Tsunoda's front wing.
Definite wanker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rockstars. The Chinese fans were trying to outdo the Japanese fans with the amount of, as people were calling them this weekend, full kit rockstars.
Yeah, they were my first nominee as well. Absolutely, the fans.
Yeah, and F1 hats.
Yeah. See, I spotted the Charles Leclerc fan with an F1 hat, but it was a really expensive, like 120 quid bloody model of a Ferrari stuck to a hard hat.
Yes, I saw that one as well. I was a bit stunned by that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the hard hat probably cost you like £3, but that's 120 pounds worth of model sat on top.
But is it? They don't have to pay quite as much postage and packing from Wish or Temu.
Yeah, it's just round down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta go Williams as a rock star. Lewis. Gene Simmons.
Yeah.
Gene Simmons.
Well, I mean, he didn't wank his floor down, did he?
I would love. Right.
Hang on. Gene Simmons didn't wank his floor down.
Gene Simmons probably has at some point wanked his floor down.
Yeah.
We have just moved our hosting to Spotify, which does an automatic transcription of the show, and
best of luck to them with that.
I cannot wait to see what they come out with for that bit.
You can send your screenshots too.
Ocon, Rockstar.
Yes.
Actually, Haas in general.
Yes.
Haas, I would go with that. Yeah.
You know,
I know that
I was going to say, in the true spirit of it, a double points finish, according to Gunter, would make them look like rock stars, but they looked like wankers because nobody was in the points. They got a double points finish, therefore they have to be rock stars by default.
Mm-hmm. I know that you were saying about Behrman being driver of the day. I think it's worth giving something to Piastri as well. He stuck it on pole from the lead. Rockstar.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Rockstar. Yeah, all McLaren in general, I think all of McLaren were rock stars this weekend.
Lando slightly fluffed the first lap of the sprint race, but it was only the sprint race at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, a little bit of hubris crept in, but they sorted it out by the time it got to the actual Grand Prix on Sunday, so I can forgive them for that.
We've also had an online nomination for Can Oscar get both Rockstar and Participation Award for this Grand Prix? We barely bloody saw him.
It's very true, yeah.
Anything else? Any Participation Awards to hand out?
Fernando Alonso.
We know he was there at some point.
I mean, at Checkered Flag, I would have said Sainz, but obviously he was heftily promoted and ended up getting points, so...
Yeah.
It feels a bit harsh to include him.
Yeah, somebody sent us a message saying you're going to have to revise your script. That was the funniest part. Like, you think we've got a script that's done in more than a running order that's done more than 10 minutes before we hit record?
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think we can literally quantify the term Alpine-gash as script.
No, I don't think we can. Although, if we have time to do it, because I know, Kieran, you've got to dash off because you've got a plane to catch in the morning. I do have, and is that Glock written down in front of me?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
let's race through it.
Yes.
Right.
And the fact that 30 seconds ago, Jane sent me a message saying, hard cut off by 10, eh? Like, no, we're doing it.
You said 10 a.m. technically in the chat.
10 a.m., yeah.
Yeah, we have screenshots.
Yeah. This will be somewhere over the Thames Estuary by then, but yeah, we'll do it.
This one was sent in by me because nobody sent us one yet. So, I was born.
Yay.
Oh, sorry, I actually did say 10 a.m. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, no, I wasn't taking the piss. I was quoting you.
So, I was born in 1968.
Yay. Okay.
My first races were for a team not on my home continent, run by someone from an entirely different continent.
My God.
Fucking continents, Jesus Christ.
Sorry, can you repeat that one again?
Yeah, my first races were for a team, my first open-wheel car races, were for a team not on my home continent that was run by somebody from an entirely different continent.
So we're doing three continents here.
Was Michael Schumacher 1968?
That'd be about right. Yes.
There is one more. There is one more. There is one more clue before you have to guess.
His first race was for Jordan, wasn't it? Who is from the same continent?
Yeah.
Belgium, so it doesn't work. Sorry, one more clue?
Yes, one more, yes.
All right, I'll make it easier. That was my first F3 races.
Okay.
Right. Clue 3, I only won my first race after a famous father retired.
Because what I was going off of was Michael Andretti would have raced in Kyalami for McLaren, but that doesn't work.
Oh, see, with the can we have the continents clue again? Because I interpreted it differently to how it's been interpreted.
My first F3 races were for a team not on my home continent,
right?
Run by someone from a different continent.
See, I'm hearing that as the team is based in a different continent rather than the racetrack.
Yeah,
is how I had heard that.
So an F3 driver who probably could be from South America who drove for a European F3 team, which was headed up by an Australian, for example.
That is how I interpreted that clue. I hadn't considered that we were talking about a racetrack, but I could be wrong. Paul is giving little away.
That's the idea. So you've had 3 clues. I could do with a guess.
Yeah, 1960,
oh, excuse me.
At the same age, he grew up racing alongside Schumacher in junior Formula, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the famous father thing. That's a bit confusing.
But that sounds like someone has retired to give this person an opportunity.
So unless Michael Schumacher retired and then Frenton would win a race, because he is a famous father, because he's famous and also a father.
Yeah.
Yes.
Slightly thin logic.
It's a reach. It's a reach, but you know.
So you go Michael Schumacher for your first guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Schumacher or Frenton?
I was gonna say, I have no idea.
Right. My F1 debut was as a teammate to another famous father.
Okay. So.
And clue 5, I was out-qualified all season by that person.
Okay.
And my second season in F1, you could call it a non-starter.
Okay.
And it's clue time. Guess
so
time.
Clue 4 again was...
My F1 debut was as teammate to another famous father who out-qualified him all season. And my second season in F1, I guess you could call it a non-starter.
Oh, I tell you what, I think I know who it is.
Oh, go on.
I don't want to say it.
This is the point where we do a name, though. This is the point to say.
You know what? I don't want to say it because I think I'm going to spoil Paul's clues, which are coming up. So I've got it in my mind, and I'll come back to it at clue 9.
Okay, so your second guess is classified.
Apparently so. I mean, who else have we got that sort of famous dads around that? You've got Yoss. You've got J-Mag.
Yep.
Who else would you have from around about then?
Andretti.
Yeah.
Christian Fittipaldi. Christian Fittipaldi. Yeah, I think I know who it is.
I mean, don't forget, you could just pick a first name, Fittipaldi. There are that many of them.
Yes, there's lots of them. Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so second guess is being banked.
Yes, apparently.
Yeah.
Right. My third season in F1 brought about the early end of an era. Okay, clue number 8. Martin Brundle didn't have many things to say about me.
Yeah, I've got it.
There are still 2 more clues before.
Yeah.
Clue 9. I was outperformed by a big cat. And clue number 10. I left racing for 10 years and then came back to race GT3s and Porsche Cup cars.
Yeah.
Go on, Karen.
It's Pedro Lamy.
Ah?
Pedro Lamy.
Is that your guess?
Wait a second. Wait, so Pedro Lamy, Portuguese, I think?
Yeah.
Okay, so Pedro Lamy, Portuguese, so from a different continent. Yeah, maybe I don't know where his F3 career started. I don't know Pedro Lamy that well. He was teammate to a famous father.
That could be Fittipaldi, and then he could have been parked by a Yoss. I'm expecting the Spaffer to be something related to being a steward this weekend.
So you're going for Pedro Lamy as your guess?
I don't have anything better.
No, same.
I'm just trying to see if I can get all of the clues to fit with what I know about Pedro Lamy.
I think this is it. I don't know enough about Pedro Lamy to make the clues fit.
Jaguar, something.
Big Cat and Jaguar would make sense, but yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like the Spaffer?
Yes.
Go on.
This was the one I was proud of. I was good at swapping ends, and so were my mechanics.
Oh, it's fucking Ricardo Rosset.
It was Ricardo Rosset.
I'm sorry I sent you down the Pedro Lama path. We were chatting about it in the chat group yesterday. I thought, has he got some stellar memory there for bringing up Pedro Lama?
I did think about it, but then I thought, would I be that bloody obvious? The swapping ends thing was after he crashed in Monaco. His mechanics altered the nameplate on his paddock scooter from Rosset to Tosser.
Yes, yeah, I remember that. Well, I don't remember it. I have seen it since.
And that's the Martin Brundle thing, isn't it?
The Martin Brundle one. Murray Walker said there are people debating whether Rosset should have a place in Formula One or not, and Brundle came back with, it's a very short debate.
I'm still friends with him on Facebook. I was friends with him on Facebook for a while.
Ricardo Rosset?
Yeah, I am still friends with Ricardo Rosset.
Right.
Really?
For any reason, or did you just send him a request and he was like, okay?
My dad, for a while, was building an F1 wall in the upstairs of his hallway.
And it got smashed down by Ricardo. Oh, sorry, no way.
And we thought, as an insurance claim, I'll add you on Facebook. He was building this wall of F1 things for ages. And he had posters from F1 racing and things he bought online. And I bought him
Oh, now Kieran's vanished.
a signed and framed photo off eBay of Ricardo Rosset. And
I found him. I have one mutual friend.
So I got in touch. I tracked him down on Facebook. I think I did Luca Badoa at the same time because I wanted to do that. Am I still friends with Luca Badoa? Is the next question.
While you're looking, I was going to say, I'll explain some of these clues. His first F3 races were for Alan Docking Racing in British F3, and Alan Docking was an Australian. He only won his first race because Jan Magnussen retired. His F1 debut was with Footwork, alongside Jos Verstappen, who outqualified him all season. Second season in F1 was a non-starter because he DNQ'd for the Australian Grand Prix in the MasterCard Lola, and the team folded pretty much straight after that. Third season in F1, Craig Pollock brought him into Tyrrell, and that made Ken Tyrrell retire. Outperformed by a big cat, his teammate at Tyrrell, who did better than him all season, was Tora Tiger Takagi.
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah.
So
yeah, I messaged him saying I bought a signed photo of you off eBay. I'm going to frame it. I will put a little quote underneath it on the wall. Can you send me something? And he messaged me back saying, "Hi Kieran. We used to joke with this one. When you have any doubts, keep your foot down. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." Oh. And I wrote on the bottom, "Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Best wishes, Ricardo."
That is genuinely amazing.
His Facebook friends list is full of some, well, not full. There are some recognizable names in his friends list. I do feel sorry for Rubens Barrichello. He must have like 4 different profiles on Facebook.
I'm glad to be alongside the likes of Antonio Pizzonia.
He is in here as well, yes.
Oh, this is brilliant. So, if you want to send Ricardo Rosset, if you want to send in an Is That
Don't
block,
bombard Ricardo Rosset.
It sounds like he was very generous in his reply to Kieran.
If you want to send in an Is That Glock to save me writing them every week, then drop us an email, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, or a DM on the socials at 3legs4wheels, or 3legs4wheels.com on Blue Sky. You can get hold of us individually on the socials at
Sean Cowper,
at Flood21,
At Kieran is boring.
And at Pablo100. If you want to help out the show, go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels and you can make a donation there. There will be more Patreon shows when Kieran's not jetting off to Berlin and we get enough about ourselves to start recording a little bit earlier on a
To be fair,
Monday
you got
night.
a mini Patreon at the start when we were talking about shite.
That is true. For more of that, we will be doing bollocks random Patreon shows again at some point. And I think that is about it. We will be back next week. We'll be looking forward to the Japanese Grand Prix and whatever the bloody hell news has come out of Red Bull.
Oh, you know it's going to be next Tuesday morning.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Society to abolish Tuesdays. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.